Thank you guys for joining me today on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I'm Jeff Phillips. Okay, so today's video is going to cover something that's been asked a whole lot lately, a whole lot, and that is your sight picture. Okay, instinctive shooting requires a sight picture that feels good, okay, that you just know when it's right. And that's why we call it instinctive shooting, guys. It's no different than throwing a baseball at something or throwing a rock at something. It doesn't matter. It's the same principle, guys. Okay, so you say, okay, how do you just draw and make, you know, a kill shot like that? No sights, no nothing, just looking at it. Well, it definitely comes from practice. You gotta have your bow set up right, that's for sure. You got to have everything dialed in, your arrows tuned to the bow, where they're coming out of the bow straight, knock height set, everything good, where the arrow's not doing something funky, okay? Once you got all that down, and I hope that by this time of the year that you have got that process down pat, because now it's time to get ready to hunt. It really is, guys. If you're a bow hunter. Now, I know everybody doesn't hunt. Lots of guys just shoot 3D. But for the masses that are about to start hunting, okay, once you got that down, guys, you got to work on your shot process, okay? And dealing with the sight pictures, like I had a guy ask me, message me and ask me, could I help explain my personal sight picture and what he needs to kind of look for? Okay, all right, so I thought about it long and hard, and the best way I can explain it, guys, is when you look at your target, you're gonna have pretty much a pre-shot process, if you will. All right, that's what I have. In other words, when I get ready to shoot a target or a deer, whatever it is, anything that I'm shooting at, whether it be with a longbow, recurve, it makes no difference to me. But what I typically do, guys, is I will stare down my spot and say, okay, that's where I want my arrow to go. Now, I'm shooting split finger. Again, I switch back to split from 3 under. Very little change for me, but I really do like it. Okay, it's not for everybody, but I do like it. All right, but what I do, guys, my sight picture, and if you wonder, well, what are you even talking about your sight picture? Okay, let me try to explain looking at a target versus looking at your bow, okay? You have a sight window. That's what's called a sight window on your bow. Every bow has one, every one. And it is the section that's cut out that allows you to more or less see your target uninterrupted, okay? When I cant my bow over, you noticed I did shoot with a little bit of a cant, and especially with a longbow, the cant opens up that sight window even more. It does. So it allows me to really see my intended target really well. And I go ahead and I get my bow arm into position. I get it up about where it's going to need to be, and that's just through instinctive practice, knowing kind of where to elevate and where it needs to be just from shooting. Because if you're shooting and you're hitting low, or you're hitting high or whatever, you'll quickly adapt, and your brain will tell you, okay, you don't need to shoot like that again. Do it a little different. Make the adjustment. Do what you got to do to make it happen, okay? And once you figure that out, and it's not really any different from, say, 10 yards to 20 yards or 25. There's really no difference. Until the arrow begins to get into its drop cycle, there's really no need to elevate, because an arrow is launching at an arch, okay? And then it's gonna meet that line again. In other words, no arrow leaves a bow perfectly straight. It just doesn't. It rises and it falls, okay? That's the arch. But you don't have to think about that. All you have to do is focus. The smaller that you can focus on, the more accurate you're gonna be. And what I do is I mentally prepare before I ever draw my bow. If you'll notice during my draw cycles, because I shoot pretty fast, I more or less start tugging on my string. And as I draw and I come into my anchor and I get my elbow up, I'm already looking at exactly what I want to shoot, and I just shoot. It's just that simple. That's what I typically do. Okay, so my sight picture, what does it look like? Well, guys, if you could see right here, you got a target, you got a bow, you got an arrow, you got your hand, and you're looking at it. If you were to look at that animal right where that arrow's at and just happen to glance down and notice where your bow hand is at 20 yards, my knuckles are right at that doe target's feet. Okay, but I don't pay attention to that. But if I were to look at it, that's where it would be. Okay, and be shooting dead on here, that's where it would be. That's why a lot of gap shooters actually look at the end of their arrow and know how far below the target to put that to hit the intended target. Okay, but shooting instinctive, your sight picture is a feel-good window where when you draw and as you come in to anchor, you just know. You know when your elevation's right. There's no question it, guys. You just know it, but it only comes from practice. You gotta get out there and actually shoot your bow with your arrows, whatever weight arrows you're shooting, whatever pounds. You gotta do all that stuff to figure it out. And once you do, you just do it over and over. It's kind of repetitive. It's like once you hit that perfect shot, you think, okay, what did I do? How did I do that? And what do I need to do to replicate that? That's called muscle memory, guys. That's what it is. Okay, that's exactly what I do, guys. I look and I shoot, and I was off about that far with one, but the other two are right there. That's just human error. And you say, well, what can that little bit of difference be from? It's just from your shot. It's from how you release the string. If you move, if you do anything different, it's going to affect where your arrow impacts. Okay, you have to shoot as closely to a machine as you can. And you know, it's okay to think that in your mind. Say, okay, I'm gonna make this shot and I'm gonna be like a machine. I'm gonna do the exact same thing every time, no matter what distance it's at. And the results will come. They really will. So let's just say you're a guy that's just starting out. Maybe you've just got your bow. You're just starting out shooting instinctive style. No aiming, no gapping, no nothing. And you really want to do it. Okay, start out close. Just start out about maybe 10 yards max. Just don't even go past that. And work on coming into an anchor that you feel the same every time. And there again, with split finger, it's right here. Right here. And this finger comes into this cheekbone. That's my anchor point. That's what I do, shooting split. Okay, and when I do that, I'm already locked in on where I want to shoot. I kind of already have the shot made, if you will. Okay, in my mind I do anyhow. But start out about 10 yards. Make it easy on yourself. Do that and work on just coming to anchor, focusing as small of a spot as you can, and just repeating your shot over and over and over until you develop a group. Then you will understand, okay, this is what I need to do. Maybe not what Jeff does or anybody else, but what you need to do, because you are your own person with your own mind, your own body build, and everybody's born different. It's just the way God made us, okay? We're all different, but something will work for you. If one thing doesn't work, don't be scared to try something else, and don't get frustrated. That's the number one thing. If I can give you guys any kind of advice at all, if you're first starting out, don't get frustrated, okay? it's part of the process. I've been there, I've done it. I've been in situations where I just couldn't put it together, and I've just kind of, you know, threw it down. Well, then I'd go right back out and try to figure it out again. That's why it's fun. It really is, and it's addictive, guys. It's addictive. I was talking to a buddy today from Georgia. He had called me, and we were talking about his setup and all this stuff. And what was so cool about this is, you know, he mentioned that some days you're just on. I mean, instinctive. You're just on. You're shooting so good, and you say, okay, I'm done. I'm quitting on this one. Go to walk in the house and have a 50-yard target out there and just decide to shoot one more arrow. And bam, you nail a target at 50 yards or something. And you're like on top of the world. You can go right back out the next day, and you cannot put a group together less than 15 inches. And you're like, why? Archery is mental. It really is, guys. It's mental. You've got to have your mind on the shot. You really do. And I don't mean think about every little thing, because if you go to dissecting it, that just jumbles your brain. But it's the mental focus, okay? In other words, once you develop a shooting process, your mind will automatically recall what you did to make that good shot once you get to practicing it, and you don't think about anything but the focus. In other words, the focus on the target, the focus on where you want to hit, will drive everything else in your brain to replicate that, because the focus is what makes everything hone in and come together. Okay, so guys, if you're just starting out, have fun with it. Have fun. Don't get tore up if you don't shoot that good. Okay, it's okay. You know, I've been asked before, well, how long does it take to really learn how to shoot instinctive? Some guys it takes 2 days. Some guys it takes 2 years. Honestly, how long did it take me? I'd say probably well over a year. Well over a year, probably, to really develop my thing, because I tried so many different things. Some worked okay, some didn't work okay, and I realized quickly, hey, that's not for me. I don't like it. It doesn't feel natural. It's not for me. It's not something I want to do. I have to shoot a style that I crave, that I enjoy, that I want to do. And when you do that, you'll get better. You really will get better, guys. So anyway, thank you for joining me today on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching every one of the videos. Just can't thank God enough for what he's done. And we got a whole lot of stuff coming. We got a big shoot coming up. We're about to try to do a full out video on it. It'll be super cool. All the guys are going to get together, kind of a, we got a couple left right before hunting season fires up, which is real close. And that's all I've been doing, is getting my actual hunting stuff together, my arrows that are in the weight range that I want, with the hunting weight bows, and that's what I've been practicing with. I've just kind of laid down the real lightweight stuff for me, because that's not what I really want to hunt with, because I like shooting a little bit more pounds. But yet I understand the guys that can't. Get what you got and get it dialed in and get ready, because hunting season comes quick, guys. It really does. So again, thank you for joining me today on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I love you guys so much, and I just praise God for everything that he's doing. Till next time, goodbye.